I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Dr. Bones, listening to Dr. Bones.
Good morning, which is the first here on the Dr. Bones Show. We're doing a live interview with She Was Loud, and we have Andrew on from the band, and they're in Australia. That's why we're here so early. So good morning, Andrew, or actually good evening, Andrew. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Welcome to the show. So first off, She Was Loud. I mean, it's one of those names that I would think would be somewhat explanatory, but how did you come up with a name? Was it like a last minute thought? Did you think about it for a while, or how did this come about?
No, well, it was a bit of a last minute thing because last year we recorded a 5-track EP, and I think the thing to really get across that we're more of a project than a band. It's something we all do outside of our jobs and in our spare time. And last year we recorded a 5-track EP. We've all been in bands before for years and years and years, but I think this was just another reason to continue working together. But yeah, so last year we recorded a 5-track EP and we did it, and it had no name. So it was sort of flirting with ideas, what to use. And a few years before that, I was thinking of making a sort of a clothing label, and I was going to call it She Was Loud. But I never really sort of took it off the ground because I don't really know anything about a clothing label. I did the graphics and I made it look cool, and I thought, oh, you know what? I don't really know what I'm doing here. So I had two unfinished projects, and then sort of with a eureka moment, I thought, wait a minute, what if I take this one and put them together? And that's sort of how it came about.
So
She Was Loud. Where the mentality behind the actual clothing label, name for the clothing label, I really don't know. I write things down and I look at things and I always think, oh, that'd be a cool name for something or other. But there's no. Everyone comes up and says, how loud was she and things like that. But it's got nothing to do with that side of it.
So almost, since it's like projects, almost kind of like how the Foo Fighters started. No, initially it was just a project for Dave Grohl, and he wasn't planning on doing a band. I think he just kind of recorded the album.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, and to be honest, we've got with our track All Along the Way, which was the first track off last year's EP. That's probably got more interest than anything else I've ever done in the past, for sure. I mean, it's pretty much gone into the UK and US, and actually more so in abroad than back here, actually. But I guess you can do that now. It's easy to connect through through Twitter and through the internet than it was 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, and now it's sort of making a comeback too, just because the way in your bio it kind of describes somewhat of a grunge sound, and it's kind of making its way back around. But the way you guys have done it has kind of stuck out a little bit more, because this time, it's same sort of idea, but not exactly. So I mean, you put your only little kind of twist and bend on it to make it sound better, and I've been really getting into it, and there's been a lot of good response on over here in Canada for sure.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, the idea was to go back to the 90s, and go back to because I don't know what it's like, music's like in Canada, but I don't know, here in Australia, it doesn't seem like bands are rocking like they used to. Maybe that's just a sign of us getting old, or me getting old. But personally, I think it's actually getting more mellow. It's either death metal or really mellow, and we just sort of wanted to go back to what got us into music in the first place, which was bands like Nirvana and Chili Peppers and Tool, and not that we sound like with Tool, but we got glimpses of all that 90s era, so that was the heart and soul of last year's record. And then we've just released a new one, and all that music we just give away. We just put on the internet and put it on SoundCloud and have it available for free download, and people have really been starting to get into it, and some of the comments have been really heartwarming, and people have been requesting it for their radio shows around the world, and we start to build relationships with them, and it's just sort of it's really cool, man. It's the best response I've ever got, and yeah, we're pretty proud of it.
Well, it's nice to hear it, because I mean, I really like the EP, and I know I like the new song. You sent me out the new one as well. And as far as music goes in Canada, I mean, it's we kind of only get we'll say like a dime in the rough right once in a while that kind of really kind of mainstreams and makes it big because right now we're suffering backlashes from Justin Bieber, so
Yeah.
unfortunately, so but just the quick word, not little douche. What happened was this during the Olympics. There was a picture put online. There was an American hockey player and Canadian hockey player with Bieber in the middle saying a loser gets to keep him. So
I saw that. I saw that.
so I'm hoping they stick to the word to keep Bieber because we really don't want him back.
Who won? I don't know.
We did. Canada won the gold for that one.
Yeah, I came to Canada actually last year for a wedding. Went to Nelson in this like some hippie town in the hills.
In Nelson, BC. Oh yeah.
Where they've all got monster trucks and smoke dope all the same time. So it was cool. It was surreal, but it was cool.
Yeah. No, BC. Go ahead.
You?
I was just gonna say BC in general is it's a really nice province, and there's Western Canada just nice in general. So.
Yeah, nice. So how many tracks? I gave you the two of the new one, right?
Yeah.
So far.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll have to throw you the other two as well. It's just 4 tracks. So that our philosophy is each year just to record an EP. You know, I think creative people can really, you know, have no problem making it, but follow through and delivery is sometimes, I think, one of the things that they struggle with. So I've found over the years the best thing for us is to really make deadlines and just stick to it. And for us, a 12-month deadline, you know, just every year we'll like last year we recorded about. I've got a band room in my house, which is where I'm talking to you now from. But last year we recorded about, I don't know, just 25 to 30 ideas, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, and then we just cull it down to the best 4 or 5. We actually took 6 in, and 2 didn't make the cut, so we ended up with 4, and they were like our best 4 songs from the year, you know. And then we released that in early this year, which we just released it on the 1st of March. So, and that's starting to get some really good traction as well. I mean, just in 1 week, it's been played in the US, the UK. Scotland, London, and Australia. So pretty cool. And now Canada. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's one way to keep it fresh, and I mean, each band records differently, or however it's managed, because obviously sometimes stuff gets in the way. Now, since most of you guys have other jobs, how does your recording process go? Like, arrangements of songs, are you guys able to get together quite a bit, or kind of send stuff by email? How's that work?
Yeah, well, the thing is, the other thing that's sort of a bit different, we don't have a traditional band formula in terms of, we don't have a drummer, we don't have a regular bass guitarist, we don't have a lead guitarist, and vocal duties continue to swap. So we basically treat each song independently. So that might mean that I might do the bass and guitar on one track, and we always get a studio drummer, and Jess and Murray might sing on that track, and the other guys will sit out for that track. But then there might be a track where we're all doing different instruments. So we all play multiple instruments. Like Chris, the guitarist, who predominantly plays guitar, he's like one of the most creative guys I've ever met, and we've been playing for bands for, I don't know, almost 15 years, since high school now, probably more than that. And he plays like guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and a lot of the other guys as well do as well. Jess and Murray are pretty much the two that mainly just do vocals. But so in terms of songs, the song structure, whoever's got an idea will come in, and we'll just keep layering that. And if that person comes in and has got the guitar line and the bass line, then so be it. We're not precious about, hey, you know, this is my song or anything like that. It's totally a group effort, and people are cool. Like, you know, we sit out. It's what's best for the song, and I think that's probably just, it comes around to maturity as musicians, and maturity just to, you know, just say, listen, we just want to make a really cool song. Doesn't matter who's in it, I just want to be part of it or not, you know.
All right, no, that's definitely a different way of doing it, and I guess in some cases it makes it easier since, like you said, you don't have the exact kind of band formula. There's a little less pressure to, even though you gotta have a deadline for each EP. I mean, it's still, we think, just be a little less pressure to record the songs, or just you think just a little.
We're fucked if we have to play it live. Well, we haven't come to that. But the way Chris was saying, I was saying, do you reckon we should? You know, do you reckon we should take this to the stage? And he's like, I don't know, when we get the call up to say, listen, we really want you to play, then we'll do it. But that hasn't happened yet. So maybe when that happens, we'll have to work it out. But it's doable. It's doable. But it'll just be like, it'll almost be like a cover band because we'll be like learning our own shit.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. Jess is really. I know Jess is really keen to take it to the stage, and I can be swayed, you know. But yeah, the other guys are like 50-50.
Oh, right on. No, and that's interesting because that was gonna be one of the questions later on. Is just do you guys ever plan to do any shows for this? Because yeah, that would be interesting to see you guys get together and pretty much get arranged. And you know, you're right. It will work. It just take a bit of time, just because. Just the way you play. You know, you've been recording your own parts, which is cool, but never together as a band. So it's more or less the timing more than anything, I would think.
Yeah, that's right, and it's pretty simple as well. You know, some of the stuff, especially the last EP. I just wanted to go back to when, you know, that time. Did you play music, or are you just straight up into it?
No, I play music, and I still do. I mean, I just would say I'm just your average Joe, run-of-the-mill guitarist, and I do play other instruments, or I make an attempt to at least. So it's one of those things that I've always learned off of friends. I've never actually had a formal lesson, because that's the best way, is always find someone better than you are. Because even though it can be very frustrating, you know, it turns out in the end, you know, in the end you learn something you didn't know before.
Yeah, that's right. Chris is the same. He's never had a formal lesson, and he's like one of the most creative people I've ever worked with, you know. I think sometimes, you know, obviously the lessons can unlock that little part in your brain, that technical part, but or help you before you find it yourself. But sometimes, I don't know, I prefer actually players that aren't that technical, to be honest, you know. But yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. That's... that's right, school. So the whole point of the last record was to get back into that sort of frame of mind of, you know, when you're first in high school, you're sort of discovering music and you're making a band, and that's all just sort of fun, you know, and that's sort of like where we wanted to go with this one.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, you know, high school is really, you know, the time where, you know, music becomes a bigger part of your life, and you're at that point where you want to record a band, even though none of you, at least at one point, may know how to play an instrument. You kind of try to get them, pick them up and go with it.
That's right. The difference is now we've got that brain of, you know, we can play our instruments, and, well, to the best of our ability, and so we're not sort of learning everything, you know, for the first time, but we are just going back to that sound that we really love. I mean, the 90s is going to come across in everything, you know, we do, and especially, well, not, you know, mainly what I do. You know, I just love that era of music for me.
Well, that was definitely high school for me, and that's pretty much the time where we started getting into it. And of course, you know, growing up at that time, you know, you're learning how to cover Nirvana songs and Alice in Chains, and, you know, Soundgarden and some other ones, and
yeah, one of the first comments we got on SoundCloud is someone wrote. This girl wrote, it reminds me of high school, and I was like, yeah, all right, cool, got it, you know.
Yeah.
We got this sound right, you know.
Yeah. No.
So, that was nice to hear.
The one thing before we get into a song off the last EP is I'm sure you probably maybe knew a question along those lines would come up, but speaking of grunge era, were you ever a fan of Silverchair?
Silverchair. You know what? I wasn't when I was younger, but I listen back to some of the tracks now. They're pretty fucking good. You know, they copped it because they were so young. You know, and what did people think of them internationally? Did they just think they're little punks? Or
no. Well, at least in Canada, they love them here. Like, absolutely love them.
Yeah, but I wasn't as much of a fan. But a lot of bands went over my head, you know, when I was younger, and I've come back now to go, man, actually, they were pretty cool. You know, like Fu Manchu was another band I've just right into now that have been there the whole fucking time. But yeah, Silverchair. No, I mean, Daniel Johns is a freak. You know, the main guitarist and singer and songwriter. Like, he's just a sick muso. But when we were younger, they had mixed reviews. But I think that they've definitely earned their dues and proved to be one of the heavyweights in Australian music.
Yeah, well, I just brought that up because I remember initially when they came out. At least, I don't think I actually even ever heard someone say it on the radio or on like the music channel on TV or anything like that. but I mean, there was rumors saying no, Silverchair is gonna be the next big thing, and no, they're gonna be like the next Nirvana, and all of a sudden, no, that was the only thing. There's only stigma, not just with them, but with other bands. A big band like that coming out, we're always gonna be compared to Nirvana for the first little bit, which I think kind of made them work a little bit harder because like Frog Stomp and even Electric Ballroom, which is like one of their last albums, was really decent, and it's one of those things that every once in a while I'll come back to, and I'll just think about it, and I'll pop the CD in, or pull up my playlist, and like I think one of my favorite songs by them that really sticks out is called Israel's Son off Rock Stomp.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that album's unreal. Like that was 16 then,
Well, exactly, and they won a Battle of the Bands contest if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there's this thing called Unearthed. I think they won Unearthed as well, which is the flagship radio station in Australia, which is known for pretty much in that stage, because it's a real cross section of music. It's on Triple J, but I think they may have won that, or some. I might be wrong, but anyway, they got pushed into the spotlight at a very. I think they did start at the Battle of the Bands, and then they won something else, and then they got pushed into the spotlight at a very young age. And I don't know how they came out normal, to be honest, because
yeah.
I was a little shit at 16.
Yeah, so
I didn't need all the money in the world to be it. So, But yeah, they're alright.
Very true, right? Oh, we can be done with that. I just thought I'd ask you just because Australia, I know Silverchair, so it's one of the first things at least people in my generation, my age, kind of associate with music-wise, so.
Yeah. No, all good.
All right, so we're gonna listen to a song off the first EP, and we're gonna take a quick break here and listen to Bubblegum by She Was Loud.
You want to you try and do it, but you never get paid. You want to pursue that little kitten, but you never get laid. You can shoot if your mouth and put your tongue on my name, but I'm a funky motherfucker and on top of my game. Other suckers are playing and I'm a bore with the wannabes. Wanna see some passion, so surrounding like a centipede with super extraordinary mic got legs, and I'm gonna rock and roll like my name's Chuck Berry. I seen a fine and crazy chick, it's always one step ahead of me. Kind of freaky bitch, you wanna fuck me in the cemetery. No one turn legendary seekers with the dictionary fictionally. Ambitions hitting on you digitally. Got a plan to own Japan from my desk to Superman. Dama Adi got a baby, show me through you push your man. Who's around the city with them $100 bills? Kinda ill, kinda kills. Na 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 na. Sucking pipes on the couch like a clinical nerd. Now see the wicked at work, and I'm a digital. It's no doubt about it, yeah, my style's so beautiful. Use superficial rules, taste like bubblegum's a party on the hill. And please don't come close. Cause it's not bubblegum. Cause it's not bubblegum. You wanna sue me, try and do it, but you never get paid. You want to sue that little kid, but you never get laid. You can shoot off your mouth and put your tongue on my name, but I'm a funky motherfucker and on top of my game. Other suckers are playing, and I'm a boy with the wannabes. Wanna see some passion, so surrounded like a centipede. Super extraordinary, mic athletics, and I'm going rock and roll like my name's Chuck Berry. Cause it's not bubblegum.
All right, Bubblegum, She Was Loud. Now, this one in particular has 90s like written all over it, and it's really cool because I can pick up so many different like influences in there, from like the kind of almost kind of distortion sound, but almost like a classic riff that was used here and there, and kind of got that kind of that upscale progression.
Yeah, right. Like it's based on a do you know Regurgitator?
The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't say that I've heard any of their music.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how big they are, abroad, but they're one of my biggest influences. They're an Australian band, and they've got a song called Track One, and we're trying to sort of do something similar to that, and then it just morphs into something else anyway, But yeah, it's definitely got that 90s vibe to a bit of Rage influence towards the end in the vocals as well. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of or if you wanna, they call it kind of rapping in between. So kind of like Chili Peppers, and just that kind of almost I'm trying to think of the word for it, but it's like just a weird kind of distortion. I call it acoustic mix for the guitar.
Yeah, overdrive?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's still it's a little early, so you might...
No, you're right. No, I'm very guilty of putting distortion on everything. I just love it. I always get told on the new album, or EP, sorry, I just got told, nah, Matt, dude, you got to back it off a bit, dude. You got to back it off a bit, because people can't hear what you're saying or hear what the vocal is. But I like it. I really like that, inaudible sort of distortion sound. But I can definitely relate and I can definitely understand that it's not everyone's thing.
Well, you know what? I like. I mean, that's one of the things that kind of got me in the whole grunge thing, was all the distortion and all the muffled riffs and chords, stuff like that. So it kind of I personally enjoy it. So that's just my opinion on the song.
Yeah. I think even clean songs, even like mellow songs, if you just put it on a little bit of overdrive, even that sort of brings it a little bit of dirt is a good thing, I think,
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is like, and even now, if I sit down and play, the first thing I do is turn the distortion on.
yeah, we're all guilty of that, don't you worry.
But that's the fun about having electric, is you can go back and forth. So. Yeah,
cool. So how long have you been doing this show for?
I've been doing it just over 2 years now.
2 years, wow, cool. That's cool, man. Like, it's good how you support the unsigned, music community. The more avenues sort of people have got to get out there, I think the better. Sometimes people don't know where to start, and but yeah, it's good, man. You must have had a few bands on now, huh?
Oh yeah, man. I've had well over 100.
Yeah, right.
So, but no, it's one of those things. I have a huge passion for music, and a few years ago, I finally found the opportunity to kind of do what I wanted without having to essentially do the schooling and be bounced around trying to find a job somewhere where I can do this pretty much from the comfort of my own place, and talk to the bands that I want to talk to and ask the questions that I want to hear and that everybody else wants to hear. So it's not just the same generic stuff over and over again, because let's face it, you watch some of these live interviews, after a while, it's like, you don't even know why you're bothering, because you've heard the stuff 1,000,001 times, or it's just not that non in depth as you want. It doesn't mean it has to get like super personal, but some of the stuff that people want to hear, you don't get a chance to hear.
And the whole on-demand podcast thing is just the way to go, right? It's cool that you can do both, because you can sort of put it out there live, and then people have got it for later as well. It's a way better way of doing it. You don't have to tune in at one specific time, yeah.
Well, that's right, and it's always a lot of fun. I mean, this is just something I love doing, and such a good avenue, since, like I said, I'm such a huge music fan. I love doing the research for this stuff, so it's one of those things. I don't mind sitting down for a few hours and checking out the band and seeing what dirt I can find on them. And I don't mean dirt as in bad stuff. I just mean just information.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
Because I'm not here to have. What's that? Sorry.
What do I call you, Dr. Bones? Or...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, Dr. Bones.
Yeah.
I like it.
And that was almost kind of a last minute thought for myself too, because like initially when I came up with it, this is kind of a weird, pointless story, but it goes with the name. But what had happened is my my original Facebook account had got hacked. Yeah, right. So I tore it down completely and started over again. And I figured, well, maybe I'll put it up this way. Maybe this will be less likely to get hacked. So I came up with Dr. Bones. And the reason why Clyde's in there is because it needed a first name because it wouldn't let me do Dr. Bones by itself. So, and that just seemed to flow. I was like, this will do. And the only annoyance was going around to everybody saying, no, don't let it fool you. It really is Brian. Just had to change my Facebook. You know?
Yeah. I was that did throw me off as well. It's like, Clyde, have I got the right? All right, cool. But it came through.
Yeah, so that's the story behind my name.
Well, we know each other's stories now. Yeah. I think your one's better, to be honest.
Well, thanks, I guess. But let's talk about the new EP for a moment here, because you guys just finished it, and I've heard 2 songs off this one already. Now I know we discussed a little bit before how guys go about like putting your songs together. Now the ideas for some of these songs are just stuff you guys just kind of start jotting down, or have any of them had to do with like a past experience, or maybe with people you know?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I guess it's all everything you go through would in some way probably, you know, whether it's subliminally or whether you're subliminally going for it or it's conscious. I think it's all going to have your life experience is all going to have some sort of impact. But for us, really, we just play music, and then the music, we always write the music first, and the words always come second. It's just the way we do it, because we'll start to work out ideas, and then sometimes you come up with a little sort of loopy sort of hook or something like that, and we just build it from there. I mean, I reckon the best songs normally take the shortest time to write, to be honest. The ones that you seem to stress over and listen to 400 times trying to get it to happen, you know, aren't necessarily your best ones, but they're still good. So I still enjoy that process, to be honest. But in terms of a formula, like it's just we just catch up and we play, and I'll say to Chris, "What have you got?" Or he'll say to me, "What have you got?" And I'll show him what I've recorded, you know, in advance, and he'll just add to it, or we'll just start from scratch. I guess Paul, I think Paul, he's singing on that Get Loose track. I don't know if we'll have time to play it today, but he's probably the least emotionally invested in it. He just comes in when he wants. I even have to, you know, try and track him down a bit. You know, come on man, and then he go, yeah, I'm busy. I'll see you in a month or two, you know, and then he'll come in and just sort of mess around. But he's great. So just another perspective. It's all about, you know, having the people that you work with just to bring different perspectives and different ideas. That's what it's all about, I think.
All right, on. And with that being said, we're going to move into a song from the Brownie EP. The song's called Scum. Oops. Sorry, just one more here.
No worries, it's actually called Scumfuck.
Yeah. Scumfuck, sorry.
Take that loses and I'm losing my grip. Cause when normality reigns is when reality kicks. I hear you calling my name, I hear you egging me on. I'm going under and under, I'm not, but I'm not gone. You got me under control, I'm broken, there is no fix. You got this monkey doing tricks like you're nothing trying to switch. You got me all figured out, I feel you driving me son. We're going under and under, I'm out, and this is your fault. Cause I just wanna be your scum fuck. Cause I just wanna be your scum fuck. Cause I just wanna be your scum fuck. Cause I just wanna be your scum.
All right, that was She Was Loud with Scum Fuck. Now, to me, this song almost sounds like an angry love song.
Man, that is the best description of it because that's exactly what it is. You know, so that's exactly right. Although the love isn't necessarily a person, it's more the love of having a good time. So, but it's definitely a love song. So, 10 out of 10 for picking up that metaphor.
Yeah, well, it's just the way it came out and sounded to me, and I love the kind of just the whole we'll call it atmosphere to it, with kind of the heavier riff, and just like even though it's like it's a heavy song, and you know it's kind of angry at the same time too, is it's a good song. It's not poorly done because people made other attempts at some stuff like that and haven't done so well. So.
Yeah, cheers, man. I picked those two songs, Bubblegum and Scumfuck, because they're probably the best representation of what I guess I'm about. The other guys really bring the melody and the funk and the soul with the vocals, but I guess I'm the angst. so I haven't grown out of it yet, and I don't really plan to either. So, but yeah, that's why I chose those two songs. Every year we go out to this recording studio called Highway 9, and it's a mate studio that we've both slowly been progressing at the same. Well, he's probably a little bit more advanced, but roughly around the same speed in terms of our songwriting and the way he records. And we're just finally now we're just really getting the best sort of sound. I don't know, you can hear it properly through where you are, but it's just a lot better sound quality than the last EP, and the next one hopefully will be even better than that. We're just keeping on building. I think that's important. It's all about the pre-production, though. I'm a big believer on that. Like, we don't go into this as the studio always costs money. You know, we need to be we need to be using our time efficiently in there. We don't have the luxury of what big bands can do and just be there for months. You know, we make our EPs in we record our EPs in like 2 weekends or 6 weekends or something like that. It's not 2 weekends or 4 weekends. It's not a long time in the studio. The whole year in here, in my little studio, that's when we can waste time and go back and forth with ideas and bounce ideas. But when we're in there, we know exactly what we're doing. We just try and spit it out to the best of our ability.
I would think that makes it a little bit easier, especially because, as we all know, vocals are the hardest thing to lay down and get right, just because there's so much going on and trying to kind of perfectly time it with the rest of the music without it actually being played all once makes it a little bit more hard.
Yeah, although we've got Jess, and she's just a professional. Jess, our lovely Jess, the female vocalist in our band, she plays like once a week, or she's in a cover band and she does weddings and stuff like that, and this is her other outlet. And she's just a seasoned, professional. She just comes in and lays it down and leaves, Me, Chris and I are in there doing the rest of it. Our little parts take the longest. The vocals actually, in our case, are really quick. They know exactly what they're doing, and they come in and out.
I'm sorry when you tell that story. It just reminded me of speaking about being professional and the quick in and out. Remind me of a Simpsons episode where I think Lisa was supposed to do a voiceover, and Krusty goes, "Wasn't good. This is how it's done." He goes in and goes through 10 of them. And he's out. And they're like, "All right, Krusty, we're ready to record." He's already out the door.
Yeah.
So that just interesting, and that's the first thing I thought of. I'm sorry, but it just kind of made the connection right there.
No, it's pretty much like that. And then the rest of the time we're in there, Chris and I are going through it. I'll probably sit through the most, to be honest. I'll sit through the drums and like every process, and other people will just come in and out. But I don't know. I'm a bit of a perfectionist with it. I think you got to get it right in there, and then it's all good from there on.
Well, in the end, it's got to come out how you want to hear it, right? And obviously, you're not going to be satisfied till it turns out the way you want it to. So that's what makes it such a long process for a lot of people, just because there's just a certain way you want to hear it, and it doesn't always happen the first 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and you don't want to cringe every time it comes on, to a certain part that you just go, fuck, I made that. Why didn't I just fix that when all the mics and all the gear and everyone was in there and it was all set up? Why don't we just take 1 more minute or put in 1 more session and just fix that, But there's no stones left unturned on this EP, so it's about to go to Australian radio this week. Next week. Actually, we get our discs back and we're sending them all out, and. So yeah, hopefully we get play on Australian radio this time around, because on the last one it was more Scotland actually that we got the most love from, and then London, and then your lovely self. So hopefully our home country doesn't gets into it this time,
Well, I mean, I would hope so. I mean, the music sounds good to me, and I really like it, so I'm hoping it does well there as well. And but it does happen sometimes. It's so weird how let's say the homemade music isn't popular at home, but elsewhere it's just blowing up.
Yeah, we just got played on this Triple J Unearthed station which we've been trying to get on for years. So we just got played on that for the first time on Friday, which was awesome. So hopefully that's the beginning of something. It's the best response we've ever got, from Australia. For sure.
Right on. Well, you know what? We're actually going to have time to get to one more song they sent as well, and we're going to have time to listen to Get Loose. So, dig this, guys. She Was Loud. Get Loose. All right, she was loud with "Get Loose," and now that song is just a song I can just makes you want to get up and move. It just one of those ones you can see a mosh pit building pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, sweet. And that's Paul singing as well. So he wasn't even on the last record, and that guy just can. He can sing like an angel, and he could do that stuff. He's fucking annoying. That's the one that's the least emotionally invested as well. But he can do all that.
Of course, why not?
Yeah, and he's playing drums in a band. He plays guitar, sings like fuck yeah, unbelievable. But yeah. So hopefully on the next record we'll get a lot more, or a little bit more of him. I don't know. It's up to him. But yeah, I plan to try and lock him down a bit more.
Right on. But yeah, it was a heavy song. I really liked it, and it's pretty much anybody in the Eastern Time Zone listening, if they weren't awake, they'll definitely be awake now.
Fantastic. Happy to wake them all up.
Yeah. So, last question I have for you, Andrew, is since we're using a form of it, how has the social media worked for you? Like, so, i.e., SoundCloud, Twitter, Facebook, that sort of thing.
Well, firstly, we don't use Facebook at all. I don't see the need in it unless you're gigging and you can set events. I don't really see the purpose in it. But as for the other forms of social media, Twitter has been invaluable. It's really changed everything, for us. Like we can get to the other side of the world so quickly now. And hit people up, find like radio stations. All our radio play has come through Twitter. Besides a couple of of songs that were played on Australian radio, everything else around the world, all the response has basically been overseas, pretty much because through SoundCloud, Instagram, we started to put up a few little videos, and that even brought traffic to our SoundCloud page as well. But social media has just sort of changed the way you can share music now. We're about to get into YouTube. We don't really play in the YouTube space yet. Hopefully doing a film clip soon for Scumfuck. Actually, that's going to be the one we've chosen for that. But yeah, to be honest, it's an invaluable tool. What about yourself? Do you find it? How have you found it for what you do?
Twitter has been unreal.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a gold mine. So once I figured out how Twitter worked, the whole deal, I was pretty much hooked on it. I mean, I do have a Facebook page, but I don't use it too much at all.
Yeah, I think it's being phased out, to be honest. But yeah, do you use the hashtags and all that, and to find where you want to go, or like-minded people, I guess?
Sometimes not as much. I usually kind of just stumble upon it without having to use that sort of thing. So usually just put the hashtags after I put a tweet or something on Instagram. But even then, I don't use them too much.
Yeah, I find that is another invaluable way, because otherwise your tweet's pretty much sitting, you're just in your followers,
Right.
Whereas if you hashtag it, it can go to anyone, that all those like-minded people, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's something else I was a bit of a latecomer on, to be honest.
Well, I mean,
but yeah, no, it's totally changed. I don't know what the next step is, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what it is myself. But that's going to do it for today. And Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time. This was a lot of fun. I can really enjoy the band as well.
Thanks very much. And like I said, thanks again for playing all our tracks. You pretty much played everything on the last EP. You played 2 of this one, and there's only 4 on it. But we really do appreciate the exposure and the opportunity to be played on your show. So thanks, man.
Absolutely. So until next time, guys, this was She Was Loud. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Till then, bones out. Good morning.